Positive Thinking Audiobook. Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. A comprehensive guide to transforming your life through the power of positive thinking. Introduction. Welcome, dear listener, to a journey that has the power to transform every aspect of your life. This audiobook is not just a collection of ideas or theories, it is a practical, heartfelt guide that will walk you through the incredible process of changing your mind to change your life. Positive thinking is not about ignoring reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It is not about wearing rose-colored glasses or denying the challenges that life throws at you. Instead, positive thinking is about choosing how you respond to those challenges. It is about finding the strength within yourself to see opportunities where others see obstacles, to find lessons where others see failures, and to discover hope where others see despair. Throughout this book, we will explore the science behind positive thinking, share real-life stories of people who have transformed their lives, and provide you with practical tools and techniques that you can start using today. Whether you're dealing with stress at work, challenges in your relationships, health concerns, or simply feeling stuck in a rut, the principles in this book will help you find a new perspective and a new path forward. Remember, this is your journey. Take your time, absorb the information, practice the techniques, and most importantly, be patient with yourself. Change does not happen overnight, but with consistent effort and an open mind, you will begin to see remarkable shifts in your thoughts, your feelings, and your life. Let us begin this transformative journey together. Chapter 1. Understanding Positive Thinking. What is positive thinking? Positive thinking is a mental and emotional attitude that focuses on the bright side of life and expects positive results. A positive person anticipates happiness, health, and success and believes they can overcome any obstacle or difficulty. But let us be clear, positive thinking does not mean that you ignore unpleasant situations or difficult emotions. It means that you approach those situations with a more positive and productive mindset. Think of it this way. Imagine you are driving a car and you encounter a roadblock. A negative thinker might say, "This is terrible. I will never get to my destination. The world is against me." A positive thinker, on the other hand, might say, "Okay, there is a roadblock. Let me find an alternative route. This might even lead me to a more scenic path." Both people face the same obstacle, but their responses are dramatically different. Positive thinking is also not about being happy all the time or never experiencing negative emotions. It is about having the resilience to bounce back from setbacks, the clarity to see solutions instead of problems, and the courage to keep moving forward even when things are tough. At its core, positive thinking is a choice. It is a habit that can be developed and strengthened over time, just like building a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes and the more natural it feels. The history of positive thinking. The concept of positive thinking has deep roots in human history. Ancient philosophers like the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca taught that our thoughts shape our reality and that we have the power to choose our responses to external events. Their teachings form the foundation of what we now call cognitive behavioral therapy. In more recent history, the positive thinking movement gained momentum in the early 20th century. Norman Vincent Peale, an American minister and author, published The Power of Positive Thinking in 1952, which became one of the best-selling books of all time. Peale's message was simple but powerful. By changing your thoughts, you can change your life. Since then, countless researchers, psychologists, and thought leaders have expanded on Peale's ideas. Martin Seligman, often called the father of positive psychology, has spent decades studying optimism, resilience, and well-being. His research has shown that positive thinking is not just feel-good fluff, it has measurable effects on our health, relationships, career success, and overall quality of life. Today, positive thinking is recognized as a legitimate and powerful tool for personal development. It is used in therapy, education, business, sports, and countless other fields, and the science behind it continues to grow stronger every year. Why positive thinking matters. The impact of positive thinking on our lives cannot be overstated. Research has shown that positive thinking affects virtually every aspect of our well-being, physical health. Studies have found that optimists have stronger immune systems, lower rates of cardiovascular disease, and live longer than pessimists. A study published in the Mayo Clinic Proceedings found that optimists had a 19% lower risk of premature death compared to pessimists. Mental health. Positive thinking is strongly correlated with lower rates of depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. People who practice positive thinking are better equipped to handle stress and are more resilient in the face of adversity. Relationships. Positive people tend to have stronger, more fulfilling relationships. They are more likely to attract positive people into their lives and are better able to navigate conflicts and challenges with grace. Career success. Optimistic employees are more productive, more creative, and more likely to be promoted. They are also better leaders, inspiring and motivating those around them. Overall happiness, perhaps most importantly, positive thinking leads to greater overall happiness and life satisfaction. When you choose to see the good in life, you naturally experience more joy, gratitude, and contentment. These are not just abstract concepts, they are backed by decades of scientific research. And the best part is that positive thinking is a skill that anyone can learn and develop, regardless of their current circumstances or past experiences. Real life example. The story of Sarah. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of positive thinking. Sarah was a 35-year-old woman who had lost her job during a company restructuring. For months, she had been feeling stuck, anxious, and hopeless. She sent out dozens of resumes but never heard back. She started to believe that she was not good enough, that she would never find work again, and that her life was falling apart. Then, a friend introduced her to the concept of positive thinking. At first, Sarah was skeptical. She had always been a pessimist and could not imagine how simply changing her thoughts could make a difference. But she decided to give it a try. Every morning, Sarah started writing down 3 things she was grateful for. At first, it was hard. She would write things like, I am grateful that I woke up today, or I am grateful that I have a roof over my head. But over time, her list grew more detailed and more meaningful. She began to notice small blessings that she had previously overlooked: the kindness of the neighbor, the beauty of a sunset, the taste of a fresh cup of coffee. Sarah also started replacing her negative self talk with positive affirmations. Instead of saying, I will never find a job, she would say, I'm talented and capable, and the right opportunity is coming my way. Instead of saying, I am a failure, she would say, I am learning and growing every day. Within 3 months, something remarkable happened. Sarah not only landed a new job, but she also found that she was happier, more confident, and more resilient than she had been in years. The new job was actually better than her old one. It offered more opportunities for growth, a more supportive work environment, and a higher salary. Sarah attributes this transformation to the power of positive thinking. Sarah's story is not unique. Thousands of people around the world have experienced similar transformations by changing the way they think. And you can too. Common misconceptions about positive thinking. Before we go further, let us address some common misconceptions about positive thinking that might be holding you back. Misconception 1. Positive thinking means ignoring reality. This is false. Positive thinking does not mean pretending that problems do not exist. It means approaching problems with a constructive, solution-oriented mindset. You can acknowledge that something is difficult while still believing in your ability to overcome it. Misconception 2. Positive thinking is just wishful thinking. This is also false. Positive thinking is not about daydreaming or hoping for things to magically improve. It is about taking proactive steps toward your goals while maintaining a positive attitude. It combines optimism with action. Misconception 3. Positive people never feel sad or angry. This is a myth. Positive people experience the full range of human emotions. The difference is that they do not let negative emotions define them or control their lives. They feel their feelings, process them, and then choose to move forward with a positive outlook. Misconception 4. Positive thinking works instantly. This is unrealistic. While you may notice some immediate benefits from practicing positive thinking, lasting change takes time. It is a gradual process that requires consistent effort and patience. Think of it as planting a seed. You water it, nurture it, and give it time to grow before you can enjoy the harvest. Misconception 5. Positive thinking is selfish. This is not true. In fact, positive thinking makes you a better friend, family member, colleague, and community member. When you are positive, you have more energy and compassion to help others. Your positivity is contagious and can uplift those around you. By letting go of these misconceptions, you open yourself up to the true power of positive thinking, a power that is grounded in reality, supported by science, and available to everyone. The foundation. Self-awareness. The first step toward positive thinking is self-awareness. You cannot change what you do not recognize. Before you can replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you need to become aware of your current thought patterns. Start by paying attention to your inner dialogue. What do you say to yourself throughout the day? Are your thoughts mostly positive or negative? Do you tend to criticize yourself, worry about the future, or dwell on past mistakes? Do you automatically assume the worst in situations, or do you give yourself the benefit of the doubt? One helpful exercise is to keep a thought journal for a week. Each time you notice a strong emotion, a surge of anxiety, a flash of anger, a wave of sadness, write down what you were thinking at that moment. After a week, review your journal and look for patterns. You might be surprised at how many of your thoughts are negative, critical, or self-defeating. Do not judge yourself for having negative thoughts. Everyone has them. The goal is not to eliminate negative thoughts entirely. That is impossible. The goal is to become aware of them so that you can choose how to respond. When you notice a negative thought, you can pause, acknowledge it, and then consciously choose a more positive perspective. This practice of mindful awareness is the foundation upon which all positive thinking techniques are built. Without it, you're simply going through the motions. With it, you're truly transforming your mind from the inside out. The role of beliefs. Our thoughts are shaped by our beliefs. Beliefs are the deep-seated convictions we hold about ourselves, others, and the world around us. They are formed early in life through our experiences, upbringing, culture, and education, and they powerfully influence how we think, feel, and behave. For example, if you believe that you are not good enough, you will tend to have thoughts like, I will never succeed, or people will reject me if they really know me. If you believe that the world is a dangerous place, you will tend to have thoughts like, I cannot trust anyone, or something bad is going to happen. The good news is that beliefs are not fixed. They can be questioned, challenged, and changed. This process begins with identifying your limiting beliefs, the beliefs that hold you back and keep you stuck. Common limiting beliefs include, I am not smart enough. I do not deserve to be happy. I cannot change. Money is the root of all evil. I am too old to start something new. People like me do not succeed. Once you identify a limiting belief, you can examine the evidence for and against it. Often, you will find that your belief is based on fear, assumption, or a single negative experience rather than on objective reality. You can then replace the limiting belief with a more empowering one. For example, you might replace I am not smart enough with I am intelligent and capable, and I am always learning. You might replace I do not deserve to be happy with I deserve happiness just as much as anyone else. This is not about lying to yourself or ignoring reality. It is about recognizing that your beliefs are not always accurate and that you have the power to choose beliefs that serve you better. The difference between positive thinking and toxic positivity. It is important to distinguish between genuine positive thinking and what is sometimes called toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is the excessive and ineffective overgeneralization of a happy, optimistic state across all situations. It is the belief that no matter how dire a situation is, people should maintain a positive mindset. Toxic positivity looks like this: telling someone who is grieving to just look on the bright side, dismissing your own pain with phrases like it could be worse or others have it harder, pretending everything is fine when it clearly is not, suppressing negative emotions rather than processing them. Genuine positive thinking, on the other hand, acknowledges the reality of difficult situations while choosing to focus on what can be controlled and what can be learned. It allows space for grief, anger, frustration, and other negative emotions while also maintaining hope and resilience. The key difference is that toxic positivity denies reality, while genuine positive thinking engages with reality from a place of strength and hope. Both may look similar on the surface, but their effects are profoundly different. Chapter 2: The Science Behind Positive Thinking. How the Brain Works. To understand why positive thinking works, it helps to understand a little about how the brain functions. Your brain is an incredibly complex organ, with approximately 86 billion neurons communicating through trillions of synaptic connections. One of the most important things to know about the brain is that it is highly plastic. It can change and adapt throughout your life. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. This means that the way you think today does not have to be the way you think tomorrow. When you repeatedly think certain thoughts, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with those thoughts. Over time, these pathways become your default patterns of thinking. This is why positive thinking is so powerful. When you consistently choose positive thoughts, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're strengthening the neural pathways associated with optimism, hope, and resilience while weakening the pathways associated with pessimism, fear, and despair. Research has shown that it takes approximately 21 to 66 days of consistent practice to form a new habit. This applies to thinking habits as well. The more you practice positive thinking, the more natural and automatic it becomes. The role of neurotransmitters. Your thoughts have a direct impact on the chemical messengers in your brain called neurotransmitters. Positive thoughts trigger the release of beneficial neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. These chemicals are often called feel-good chemicals because they promote feelings of happiness, pleasure, and well-being. Serotonin helps regulate mood, sleep, and appetite. Low levels of serotonin are associated with depression and anxiety. Positive thinking can increase serotonin production, helping to improve your mood and reduce symptoms of depression. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical. It is released when you achieve something, experience pleasure, or anticipate a positive outcome. Positive thinking can increase dopamine production, making you feel more motivated and engaged with life. Endorphins are the body's natural painkillers. They are released during exercise, laughter, and other pleasurable activities. Positive thinking can increase endorphin production, helping to reduce pain and improve your overall sense of well-being. On the other hand, negative thoughts trigger the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. While these hormones are useful in short bursts like during a fight or flight response, chronic stress caused by persistent negative thinking can have serious health consequences, including increased risk of heart disease, weakened immune function, and mental health disorders. The placebo effect. One of the most compelling demonstrations of the power of positive thinking is the placebo effect. A placebo is a substance or treatment that has no active therapeutic effect, but patients who believe they are receiving treatment often experience real improvements in their condition. In clinical trials, patients who receive placebos often report improvements in pain, mood, and physical symptoms. Their belief in the treatment triggers real physiological changes in their bodies, including the release of endorphins, changes in brain activity, and improvements in immune function. The placebo effect demonstrates that our beliefs and expectations have a powerful impact on our physical health. When we believe that something will help us, our body often responds as if it actually is helping us. This is the same principle that underlies positive thinking. When we believe that things will get better, we are more likely to take actions that make them better, and our body responds to our positive expectations in measurable ways. A famous example of the placebo effect occurred in a study of patients with knee pain. Half the patients received real knee surgery, while the other half received a sham surgery. The surgeon made incisions but did not actually perform the procedure. Surprisingly, both groups reported similar improvements in pain and mobility. The patients who received the sham surgery improved simply because they believed they had received effective treatment. Research on positive thinking and health. Numerous studies have demonstrated the health benefits of positive thinking. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that people who had a positive outlook on life had lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and were less likely to experience chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is linked to a wide range of health conditions, including heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Research from Johns Hopkins University found that optimistic people were 50% less likely to experience a cardiovascular event such as a heart attack or stroke compared to pessimistic people, even after controlling for other risk factors like smoking, obesity, and high blood pressure. A study of cancer patients found that those who practice positive thinking and maintain a hopeful outlook had better treatment outcomes, fewer side effects, and improved quality of life compared to those who were more pessimistic. Research from the University of Kentucky found that older adults who practiced positive thinking had better immune function and were less likely to develop infections compared to those who had a more negative outlook. These studies, and many others like them, provide strong evidence that positive thinking has a direct and measurable impact on our physical health. It is not just a feel-good philosophy, it is a legitimate health practice. Positive thinking and mental health. The connection between positive thinking and mental health is equally compelling. A meta-analysis of over 275,000 participants found that optimism was significantly associated with lower rates of depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. Positive thinking works for mental health in several ways. First, it interrupts negative thought spirals. When you are caught in a cycle of negative thinking, each negative thought leads to another, creating a downward spiral that can be difficult to escape. Positive thinking provides an alternative path, allowing you to redirect your thoughts toward more constructive and hopeful directions. Second, it builds resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, and it is one of the most important factors in mental health. Positive thinkers are more resilient because they view challenges as temporary and surmountable rather than permanent and overwhelming. Third, it promotes problem solving. When you are positive, you are more likely to believe that solutions exist and to actively search for them. Negative thinking, on the other hand, leads to a sense of helplessness and passivity, which makes problems worse. Fourth, it strengthens social connections. Positive people tend to have stronger social networks, which are a critical factor in mental health. When you are positive, people want to be around you, and you are more likely to seek and receive support when you need it. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, one of the most effective treatments for depression and anxiety, is based on the principle that our thoughts influence our feelings and behaviors. By changing negative thought patterns, we can change our emotional responses and improve our mental health. This is essentially positive thinking applied in a therapeutic context. The ripple effect positive thinking does not just affect you, it creates a ripple effect that touches everyone around you. When you are positive, you are more likely to be kind, compassionate, and supportive. Your positive energy is contagious, and it can uplift the people in your life. Consider this: when you walk into a room with a smile on your face, people respond to you differently than when you walk in with a frown. When you speak positively about others, it strengthens your relationships and creates a more positive environment. When you approach challenges with optimism, it inspires others to do the same. Research has shown that happiness and positivity spread through social networks. A study published in the British Medical Journal found that happiness can spread up to 3 degrees of separation. This means that when you are happy, it not only affects you but also the people you interact with, the people they interact with, and even the people those people interact with. Think about the last time you were around a truly positive person. How did it make you feel? Chances are you felt energized, inspired, and uplifted. Now think about the last time you were around a truly negative person. How did that make you feel? Probably drained, discouraged, and heavy. You have the power to be that positive person in someone else's life. When you choose positive thinking, you are not just improving your own life, you are contributing to a more positive world. Chapter 3: Identifying and Overcoming Negative Thoughts, the Inner Critic. We all have an inner critic, that voice inside our head that constantly judges, criticizes, and belittles us. The inner critic tells us that we are not good enough, that we are going to fail, and that we do not deserve happiness. It is the source of most of our negative self-talk. The inner critic usually develops in childhood as a result of criticism, rejection, or trauma. It believes that by being harsh and critical, it is protecting us from disappointment and failure. But in reality, the inner critic does the opposite. It holds us back, keeps us stuck, and prevents us from reaching our full potential. The first step in overcoming the inner critic is to recognize it for what it is: a habitual pattern of thinking that is not based on reality. Your inner critic is not telling you the truth, it is telling you a story based on fear and past experiences. You do not have to believe that story. One effective technique is to give your inner critic a name. This might sound silly, but it works. By naming your inner critic, you create distance between yourself and the critical voice. You can then respond to it more objectively. For example, if you name your inner critic Nancy, you might say, "Thanks for your input, Nancy, but I disagree. I am capable and worthy." Another technique is to challenge your inner critic's claims. When it says, "You are going to fail," ask yourself, "What evidence do I have for that? Have I succeeded at similar things in the past? What is the most likely outcome?" Often, you will find that the inner critic's claims are exaggerated or unfounded. Common negative thought patterns. Psychologists have identified several common negative thought patterns, also known as cognitive distortions. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in changing them. All or nothing thinking, seeing things in black and white. with no middle ground. If I am not perfect, I am a total failure. Overgeneralization, drawing broad negative conclusions from a single event. I failed this test, so I will never be good at anything. Mental filter, focusing only on the negative aspects of the situation while ignoring the positive. I got a compliment on my work, but my boss also gave me one piece of criticism. I must be doing a terrible job, disqualifying the positive, rejecting positive experiences by insisting they do not count. They only said that to be nice. They do not really mean it. Mind reading, assuming you know what others are thinking without evidence. Everyone in the room thinks I am stupid. Fortune telling, predicting negative outcomes without evidence. I know the presentation is going to be a disaster. Catastrophizing, exaggerating the importance of negative events. If I make a mistake, it will be the end of the world. Emotional reasoning, assuming that your negative emotions reflect reality. I feel like a failure, so I must be one. Should statements, holding yourself to rigid standards and feeling guilty when you do not meet them. I should always be productive. I should never make mistakes. Labeling, attaching a negative label to yourself based on a single event. I made a mistake, so I am a loser. Once you learn to recognize these patterns, you can start to catch yourself in the act and correct them. This is not about suppressing negative thoughts, it is about recognizing them for what they are, mental habits that can be changed. The story of Michael was a young entrepreneur who had launched a tech startup. For the first 2 years, things were going well, the company was growing, investors were interested, and the team was motivated. But then, a major client pulled out, and Michael's company lost 40% of its revenue overnight. Michael's inner critic went into overdrive. I knew this would happen, it told him. You are not cut out for this. You are going to lose everything. You should have stayed at your corporate job. Michael started believing these thoughts. He became withdrawn, stopped sleeping well, and could not focus on his work. He was convinced that his company was going to fail. Then, a mentor reminded Michael of a principle he had learned in a business course, the distinction between facts and stories. The fact was that a client had left. The story Michael was telling himself was that this meant he was a failure and his company was doomed. But was that story true? Michael decided to challenge his negative thoughts. He asked himself, what other clients do we have? What new clients could we pursue? What can we learn from this experience? How can we make our business stronger? He realized that losing one client was not a death sentence, it was an opportunity to diversify his client base and strengthen his business model. Michael also started practicing daily gratitude. Every morning, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for in his business: a talented team member, a new product idea, a positive customer review. This simple practice helped him shift his focus from what he had lost to what he still had. Within 6 months, Michael's company had not only recovered but had grown. He had signed 3 new clients, improved his product, and built a stronger team. Michael later said that the experience of losing a major client was actually one of the best things that happened to his business, because it forced him to think more creatively and build a more resilient company. Techniques for changing negative thoughts. Now that you understand what negative thoughts are and how they work, let us explore some practical techniques for changing them. Technique 1. Thought stopping. When you notice a negative thought, mentally say stop, or imagine a red stop sign. This interrupts the negative thought pattern and gives you a moment to choose a different thought. Technique 2. Reframing. Look at the situation from a different perspective. Instead of thinking, I failed, think, I learned something valuable. Instead of thinking, this is a disaster, think, this is a challenge that I can overcome. Technique 3. Evidence gathering. Ask yourself, what evidence supports this thought? What evidence contradicts it? Often, you will find that your negative thoughts are not supported by facts. Technique 4. Decatastrophizing. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? How likely is it? What would I do if it happened? This helps put your fears in perspective and shows you that even worst-case scenarios are usually survivable. Technique 5. Positive self-talk. Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, say, I can do this, and I will give it my best effort. Instead of saying, I am worthless, say, I have value and I contribute to the world. Technique 6. The ABC model. This technique, developed by Albert Ellis, involves identifying the activating event, your beliefs about the event, and the consequences of those beliefs. By examining your beliefs, you can identify and change the ones that are causing you distress. Technique 7. Mindfulness Meditation. Mindfulness involves paying attention to your thoughts without judgment. By observing your thoughts from a distance, you can see them more clearly and choose not to engage with the negative ones. Practice these techniques regularly, and you will find that negative thoughts lose their power over you. They may never disappear entirely, but they will become quieter, less frequent, and easier to manage. The power of self compassion. One of the most important tools for overcoming negative thoughts is self compassion. Self compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that you would offer to a good friend. Research by Dr. Kristen Neff has identified three components of self compassion: self kindness, being gentle and understanding with yourself rather than harshly critical; common humanity, recognizing that suffering and imperfection are part of the shared human experience; and mindfulness, holding your painful thoughts and feelings in balanced awareness rather than over identifying with them. When you make a mistake or face a setback, self compassion means saying, "This is really hard right now. I am feeling disappointed, and that is okay. Everyone makes mistakes, and I can learn from this." Instead of berating yourself, you acknowledge your pain and offer yourself comfort. Self compassion is not self pity or self indulgence. It is a powerful practice that allows you to bounce back from setbacks more quickly, take responsibility for your mistakes without shame, and maintain a positive outlook even in difficult times. A simple practice for developing self compassion is the self compassion break, developed by Dr. Kristen Neff. When you are experiencing a difficult moment, pause and say to yourself, first, this is a moment of suffering. This is mindfulness. Second, suffering is a part of life. This is common humanity. Third, may I be kind to myself. This is self kindness. You can also place your hand over your heart and say, I am here for myself. I care about my suffering. This simple gesture activates the body's caregiving system and promotes feelings of safety and comfort. Over time, regular self compassion practice will soften your inner critic and create a more supportive internal environment for positive thinking to flourish. Chapter 4. Building a positive mindset. The power of morning routines. How you start your morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. A positive morning routine can help you start the day with clarity, energy, and optimism, making it much easier to maintain a positive mindset throughout the day. Here are some elements of a positive morning routine. Wake up early. Give yourself enough time to start the day without rushing. Waking up just 30 minutes earlier can make a big difference in your stress level and overall mood. Hydrate. Drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Your body is dehydrated after a night's sleep, and dehydration can affect your mood and energy levels. Move your body. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of light exercise, stretching, yoga, a short walk can boost your mood, increase your energy, and reduce stress. Practice gratitude. Before getting out of bed, think of three things you are grateful for. This sets a positive tone for the day and trains your brain to focus on the good. Set intentions. Take a moment to set your intentions for the day. What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to feel? What kind of person do you want to be? Avoid screens. Resist the urge to check your phone first thing in the morning. Starting the day with emails, news, and social media can trigger stress and negative thinking. Read or listen to something inspiring. Spend a few minutes reading a positive book, listening to a motivational podcast, or reciting affirmations. This fills your mind with positive thoughts before the challenges of the day begin. Remember, your morning routine does not have to be complicated or time consuming. Even incorporating just one or two of these elements can make a significant difference in your day. Gratitude. Practice gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for building a positive mindset. Numerous studies have shown that people who practice gratitude regularly are happier, healthier, more resilient, and more satisfied with their relationships. Gratitude works because it shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. When you are grateful, you are focusing on the positive aspects of your life rather than dwelling on the negative. This creates a positive feedback loop. The more you focus on the good, the more good you see, which makes you feel more grateful, which makes you focus even more on the good. Here are some ways to practice gratitude. Gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 to 5 things you are grateful for. Be specific. Instead of writing, I am grateful for my family, write, I am grateful for the way my daughter laughed at dinner tonight. Gratitude letters. Write a letter to someone who has made a positive impact on your life. Tell them specifically how they have helped you and how much you appreciate them. If possible, deliver the letter in person. Gratitude walk. Take a walk and notice all the things around you that you are grateful for: the trees, the birds, the sunshine, the people you pass. Gratitude before meals. Before eating, take a moment to express gratitude for your food, the people who prepared it, and the nourishment it provides. Gratitude bedtime practice. Before falling asleep, think of 3 things from the day that you are grateful for. This helps you end the day on a positive note and can improve the quality of your sleep. Research by Dr. Robert Emmons has shown that people who keep a gratitude journal for just 3 weeks report higher levels of happiness, more optimism, and fewer physical complaints compared to those who do not. The effects can last for months after the journaling practice ends. The story of Oprah Winfrey illustrates the power of gratitude. For over a decade, Oprah has kept a gratitude journal, writing down 5 things she is grateful for every night. She credits this practice as one of the most important factors in her success and happiness. What you focus on expands, Oprah has said, and when you focus on the goodness in your life, you create more of it. Visualization. Visualization is the practice of creating a vivid mental image of a desired outcome. It is used by athletes, performers, business leaders, and many others to enhance performance and achieve goals. When you visualize, you activate the same neural pathways in your brain that would be activated if you were actually performing the activity. This means that visualization can be almost as effective as real practice in building skills and confidence. Here is how to practice visualization. First, find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Second, close your eyes and take several deep breaths to relax. Third, picture yourself achieving your goal in vivid detail. See yourself in the situation, performing confidently and successfully. Fourth, engage all your senses. What do you see, hear, feel, smell? The more vivid the image, the more effective the visualization. Fifth, feel the emotions associated with achieving your goal: joy, pride, satisfaction, gratitude. Sixth, spend 5 to 10 minutes in this visualization practice. Seventh, open your eyes and carry the positive feelings with you throughout the day. Visualization works best when combined with action. It is not a substitute for hard work, it is a complement to it. By visualizing your success, you build confidence, clarify your goals, and prime your brain for success. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time, is a famous practitioner of visualization. Before every race, Phelps would spend time visualizing every aspect of his performance: the start, the turns, the finish, and even potential obstacles. He would visualize himself winning, touching the wall first, and hearing the crowd cheer. Phelps has said that his success is due in large part to his visualization practice. Affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself regularly. They are designed to challenge negative self-talk and replace it with more empowering beliefs. Effective affirmations are positive. Focus on what you want, not what you do not want. Say "I am confident" rather than "I am not afraid." They are in the present tense. Phrase affirmations as if they are already true. Say "I am successful" rather than "I will be successful." They are personal. Use I statements that make the affirmation feel personal and relevant. And they are believable. Choose affirmations that feel realistic to you. If an affirmation feels too far-fetched, it will not be effective. Examples of affirmations include: I am worthy of love and respect. I am capable of achieving my goals. I am grateful for all the good in my life. I am strong and resilient. I am worthy of success and happiness. I am surrounded by positive, supportive people. I am constantly growing and improving. To get the most from affirmations, repeat them daily, ideally in the morning and before bed. Say them out loud with conviction. Write them down. Put them where you can see them. The more you repeat them, the more they sink into your subconscious mind and become part of your belief system. Louise Hay, the author of You Can Heal Your Life, was a pioneer in the use of affirmations. She developed thousands of affirmations for various situations and helped millions of people transform their lives through the power of positive self-talk. Surrounding yourself with positivity: the people, environments, and media you expose yourself to have a significant impact on your mindset. If you surround yourself with negative people, negative news, and negative environments, it will be very difficult to maintain a positive mindset. Conversely, if you surround yourself with positive influences, it becomes much easier to stay positive. Here are some ways to surround yourself with positivity. Choose your companions wisely. Spend time with people who uplift, inspire, and support you. Limit your exposure to people who are consistently negative, critical, or draining. Curate your media consumption. Unfollow social media accounts that make you feel bad about yourself. Limit your exposure to negative news. Instead, follow accounts that inspire you, make you laugh, or teach you something valuable. Create a positive environment. Make your home and workspace pleasant and inspiring. Add plants, artwork, or photos that bring you joy. Keep your spaces clean and organized. Listen to inspiring content. Fill your commute or free time with podcasts, audiobooks, or music that uplifts and motivates you. Join a positive community. Find a group of like-minded people who share your values and goals. This could be a support group, a book club, a fitness class, a volunteer organization, or any other community that brings out the best in you. The Jim Rohn principle states that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to be more positive, surround yourself with positive people. Their energy, attitudes, and perspectives will naturally rub off on you. Chapter 5: Positive Thinking in Daily Life at Work. The workplace is one of the most common sources of stress and negative thinking. Deadlines, demanding bosses, difficult colleagues, and job insecurity can all trigger negative thought patterns. But positive thinking can help you navigate these challenges more effectively and find greater satisfaction in your work. Here are some strategies for positive thinking at work. Focus on what you can control. You cannot control your boss's behavior, your company's decisions, or the economy, but you can control your own attitude, your work quality, and how you respond to challenges. Focus your energy on what you can influence. Set realistic goals. Break large projects into smaller, manageable tasks. Celebrate each small accomplishment along the way. This builds momentum and keeps you motivated. Find meaning in your work. Even if your job is not your dream career, try to find meaning and purpose in what you do. How does your work help others? What skills are you developing? How is your work contributing to something larger than yourself? Practice self-care. Take regular breaks, eat well, exercise, and get enough sleep. When you take care of your physical health, you have more energy and resilience for dealing with work challenges. Build positive relationships. Cultivate supportive relationships with your colleagues. Take time to get to know them. Offer help when you can, and accept help when you need it. Strong workplace relationships are one of the biggest predictors of job satisfaction. Learn from mistakes. When you make a mistake at work, do not beat yourself up. Instead, view it as a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? A study by the University of Work found that happy employees are 12% more productive than unhappy employees. This means that positive thinking is not just good for you, it is good for your employer too. In relationships, positive thinking can transform your relationships. When you approach your relationships with a positive mindset, you are more patient, more understanding, and more loving. You are also more likely to attract and maintain healthy, fulfilling relationships. Here are some ways to apply positive thinking to your relationships. Assume good intentions. When someone does something that upsets you, try to assume that they had good intentions. Instead of thinking, they are trying to hurt me, think, they are probably doing their best, and there may be a misunderstanding. Focus on strengths. Every person has strengths and weaknesses. In your relationships, make a conscious effort to focus on the other person's strengths. What do you appreciate about them? What are they good at? When you focus on the positive, it strengthens the relationship. Communicate positively. The way you communicate has a huge impact on your relationships. Use kind, respectful language. Express appreciation and gratitude regularly. When you need to address a problem, do it with compassion and a focus on solutions rather than blame. Let go of grudges. Holding onto resentment and anger hurts you more than the other person. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior, it is about freeing yourself from the burden of negative emotions. Choose to let go and move forward. Be present. When you are with someone, give them your full attention. Put away your phone, make eye contact, and listen actively. Being present is one of the most powerful gifts you can give to another person. John Gottman, one of the world's leading researchers on marriage and relationships, has found that the ratio of positive to negative interactions in a relationship needs to be at least 5 to 1 for the relationship to thrive. This means that for every negative interaction, you need at least 5 positive ones. Positive thinking helps you maintain this ratio by encouraging you to generate more positive interactions. With family relationships are often the most important and the most challenging relationships in our lives. Family members know us better than anyone else, which means they can trigger our deepest fears and insecurities. But family also provides some of the greatest opportunities for love, growth, and positive transformation. Here are some ways to bring positive thinking to your family relationships. Practice patience. Family members often push our buttons because they know us so well. When you feel your patience wearing thin, take a deep breath and remind yourself that this person is someone you love who is doing their best. Create positive rituals. Establish family rituals that bring everyone together and create positive memories. This could be a weekly family dinner, a monthly game night, or an annual vacation. These rituals create a foundation of positivity that can help you weather difficult times. Express appreciation. Do not take your family members for granted. Tell them what you appreciate about them. Thank them for the things they do. Express your love regularly, both through words and through actions. Set boundaries. Positive thinking does not mean being a doormat. It is important to set healthy boundaries with family members, especially those who are consistently negative or toxic. Setting boundaries is an act of self respect that ultimately strengthens the relationship. Forgive imperfections. Your family members are human, just like you. They will make mistakes, say the wrong thing, and sometimes let you down. Practice forgiveness and remember that imperfection is part of being human. The story of a woman named Maria illustrates this point. Maria had a difficult relationship with her mother, who was highly critical and rarely expressed affection. For years, Maria tried to earn her mother's approval but always felt like she was falling short. It was exhausting and demoralizing. Then, Maria decided to change her approach. Instead of trying to change her mother, she decided to change her own perspective. She started looking for small signs of love and care in her mother's actions, the way she always made Maria's favorite food when she visited, the way she called to check on Maria when she was sick, the way she kept photos of Maria's family in her living room. Maria also started expressing appreciation to her mother. She would thank her for cooking, compliment her on her garden, and tell her about positive things happening in her life. Slowly, the dynamic between them began to shift. Her mother became less critical and more affectionate. The relationship was never perfect, but it became much more positive and enjoyable for both of them. In health and fitness, positive thinking can have a profound impact on your health and fitness. When you believe in your ability to be healthy and fit, you are more likely to take the actions that support those goals. Here are some ways to apply positive thinking to your health. Set positive health goals. Instead of focusing on what you do not want, such as I want to lose weight, focus on what you do want, such as I want to feel strong and energetic. Positive goals are more motivating and sustainable than negative ones. Celebrate progress. Do not wait until you reach your goal to feel good about yourself. Celebrate each step along the way. Did you exercise today? That is worth celebrating. Did you choose a healthy meal? Give yourself credit. Practice body positivity. Your body is your partner in life, not your enemy. Treat it with respect and appreciation. Focus on what your body can do rather than how it looks. Use positive self-talk. Replace negative self-talk about your body and health with positive affirmations. Instead of saying, I am so out of shape, say, I am getting stronger every day. Instead of saying, I hate exercising, say, I enjoy moving my body and feeling alive. Surround yourself with support. Find people who support and encourage your health goals. This could be a workout buddy, a health coach, or a supportive community. Research has shown that people who have a positive attitude toward exercise are more likely to stick with their fitness routines and achieve their health goals. A study published in the journal Health Psychology found that people who focused on the immediate benefits of exercise, such as improved mood and energy, were more likely to exercise regularly than those who focused on long-term benefits, such as disease prevention. In finances, money is one of the biggest sources of stress and negative thinking for many people. Financial worries can trigger anxiety, fear, and feelings of inadequacy. But positive thinking can help you develop a healthier relationship with money and make better financial decisions. Here are some strategies for positive financial thinking. Abundance mindset. Replace scarcity thinking, such as I never have enough money, with abundance thinking, such as I have the ability to create the financial life I want. An abundance mindset opens you up to new opportunities and possibilities. Focus on what you have instead of dwelling on what you do not have. Appreciate what you do have. Practice gratitude for the financial resources that are available to you, no matter how small. Set positive financial goals. Frame your financial goals in positive terms. Instead of saying, I want to get out of debt, say, I want to be financially free. Instead of saying, I need to stop spending so much, say, I want to invest in things that truly matter to me. Celebrate financial wins. Did you save money this month? Did you pay off a debt? Did you make a smart financial decision? Celebrate these wins, no matter how small. Positive reinforcement helps build good financial habits. Learn from mistakes. If you make a financial mistake, do not beat yourself up. Everyone makes mistakes with money. View it as a learning opportunity and move forward with new knowledge and wisdom. The story of Dave Ramsey illustrates this point. Ramsey went from being a millionaire to being bankrupt in his early career. Rather than giving up, he developed a positive approach to personal finance that focused on hope, empowerment, and the belief that anyone can achieve financial freedom. His positive approach has helped millions of people get out of debt and build wealth. Chapter 6: Overcoming Challenges with Positive Thinking. Dealing with failure. Failure is an inevitable part of life. Everyone fails at some point in their career, relationships, health, or personal goals. The difference between people who succeed and people who give up is how they respond to failure. Positive thinkers view failure differently than negative thinkers. Instead of seeing failure as proof that they are not good enough, they see it as a learning opportunity. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a stepping stone to success. Here is how to use positive thinking to deal with failure. Allow yourself to feel. It is okay to feel disappointed, sad, or frustrated when you fail. Do not suppress your emotions. Acknowledge them, process them, and then choose to move forward. Extract the lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What would I do differently next time? Every failure contains valuable information that can help you improve. Separate performance from identity. Failing at something does not make you a failure as a person. You are a human being who attempted something and did not succeed this time. That is all. Get back up. The most important thing is to not let failure stop you. Get back up, dust yourself off, and try again. Each attempt brings you closer to success. Celebrate the attempt. It takes courage to try something new, even if it does not work out. Give yourself credit for having the courage to try. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. When asked about his thousands of failed attempts to create a working light bulb, Edison famously said, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that will not work. Edison's positive attitude toward failure allowed him to persist through countless setbacks and ultimately change the world. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers before her manuscript was accepted. She was a single mother living on welfare, and many people told her to give up. But Rowling maintained a positive attitude and believed in her story. Today, Harry Potter is one of the best-selling book series of all time, and Rowling is one of the wealthiest women in the world. Dealing with loss and grief are among the most painful experiences in life. Whether you lose a loved one, a relationship, a job, or your health, the pain of loss can be overwhelming. Positive thinking does not mean pretending that everything is okay when it is not. It means finding strength and hope in the midst of pain. Here are some ways to use positive thinking when dealing with loss. Allow yourself to grieve. Grief is a natural and necessary process. Do not rush through it or try to suppress it. Allow yourself to feel the full range of emotions: sadness, anger, confusion, guilt, and eventually, acceptance. Focus on what you still have. Even in the midst of loss, there are things to be grateful for. Focus on the people who are still in your life, the things that bring you comfort, and the memories that bring you joy. Honor the memory. If you have lost a loved one, find ways to honor their memory. This could be through a memorial, a charitable donation, a tradition, or simply by living your life in a way that would make them proud. Find support. Do not try to go through grief alone. Reach out to friends, family, a support group, or a therapist. Sharing your pain with others helps to lighten the load. Be patient with yourself. Grief has no timeline. Do not pressure yourself to get over it by a certain date. Healing is a gradual process, and it is okay to take as long as you need. Look for meaning. Many people who have experienced profound loss eventually find meaning in their suffering. They may become advocates for a cause, find a new purpose in life, or develop a deeper appreciation for the people and experiences they still have. Dealing with change is a constant in life, yet many people resist it. We fear the unknown, and we prefer the comfort of the familiar, even when the familiar is not serving us well. Positive thinking can help you embrace change rather than resist it. Here's how to approach change with a positive mindset. See change as opportunity. Every change, even a difficult one, brings new opportunities. Losing a job can lead to a better career. Ending a relationship can lead to finding a more compatible partner. Moving to a new city can lead to new experiences and friendships. Focus on what you can control. You cannot control all the changes that happen in your life, but you can control how you respond to them. Focus on what you can control: your attitude, your actions, and your perspective. Take it one day at a time. Change can feel overwhelming when you think about the big picture. Break it down into smaller steps and focus on just getting through today. Over time, these small steps add up to big changes. Build a support system. Surround yourself with people who can support you through the change. This might be friends, family, a therapist, or a coach. Practice self-care. During times of change, it is especially important to take care of yourself. Get enough sleep, eat well, exercise, and do things that bring you joy and relaxation. Embrace uncertainty. Uncertainty is uncomfortable, but it is also where growth and possibility live. Learn to be comfortable with not knowing what comes next and trust that you will be able to handle whatever comes your way. The story of Susan Jeffers, author of Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, illustrates this point. Jeffers went through a painful divorce that left her terrified and alone. Instead of giving in to her fear, she chose to face it. She went back to school, earned her Ph.D. Became a best-selling author, and helped millions of people overcome their own fears. Jeffers' story shows that even the most terrifying changes can lead to the most remarkable transformations. Dealing with criticism is another challenge that positive thinking can help you navigate. Whether it comes from a boss, a colleague, a friend, a family member, or a stranger, criticism can be painful and damaging to your self-esteem, but it does not have to be. Here is how to deal with criticism positively. Listen without defensiveness. When someone criticizes you, try to listen without getting defensive. Do not interrupt, argue, or make excuses. Just listen and try to understand the other person's perspective. Separate the message from the delivery. Sometimes criticism is delivered in a harsh or unkind way. Try to separate the content of the criticism from the way it was delivered. Is there a valid point buried in the harsh words? If so, focus on that. Ask questions. If you are not sure what the criticism means, ask for clarification. This helps you understand the criticism better and shows that you are open to feedback. Decide what to accept. Not all criticism is valid. After listening and understanding the criticism, decide whether it is something you need to address or something you can let go of. Accept the criticism that is valid and release the rest. Learn and grow. Use criticism as an opportunity to learn and improve. Even unfair criticism can sometimes contain a kernel of truth that can help you grow. Do not take it personally. Remember that criticism often says more about the person giving it than about you. People who are unhappy with themselves tend to criticize others more. Try not to take it personally. Chapter 7: Advanced Positive Thinking Techniques, Mindfulness and Meditation. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It is a powerful tool for positive thinking because it helps you become aware of your thoughts and choose how to respond to them. When you are mindful, you observe your thoughts as if they were clouds passing through the sky. You do not get caught up in them or try to change them. You simply notice them and let them go. This creates a space between you and your thoughts, giving you the freedom to choose which thoughts to engage with and which to release. Meditation is a formal practice of mindfulness. There are many types of meditation, but all of them involve focusing your attention and cultivating awareness. Here is a simple meditation practice for positive thinking. First, find a quiet place and sit comfortably with your eyes closed. Second, take several deep breaths to relax. Third, focus on your breath. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. Fourth, When thoughts arise, simply notice them and return your focus to your breath. Fifth, after 5 to 10 minutes, slowly open your eyes. Research has shown that regular meditation practice can physically change the brain in positive ways. It can increase gray matter in areas of the brain associated with positive emotions, reduce gray matter in areas associated with stress and anxiety, and improve overall brain function. A study published in the journal Psychiatry Research found that just 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation can reduce symptoms of depression by 30% or more. Another study found that meditation can increase activity in the left prefrontal cortex, which is associated with positive emotions and happiness. Visualization for specific goals. While we discussed visualization earlier, let us explore some more advanced techniques for using visualization to achieve specific goals. Mental rehearsal. This technique involves mentally rehearsing a specific event or situation. For example, if you have an important presentation coming up, visualize yourself giving the presentation confidently and successfully. See yourself speaking clearly, making eye contact, handling questions with ease, and receiving positive feedback. Process visualization. This technique involves visualizing the steps you need to take to achieve your goal, not just the end result. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, visualize yourself training, eating well, getting enough sleep, and gradually building up your endurance. This helps you see that success is the result of the process, not just a single event. Outcome visualization. This technique involves visualizing the final outcome of your goal. See yourself achieving the goal and feel the emotions associated with that achievement. This creates a powerful motivation to take the actions needed to make it a reality. Obstacle visualization. This technique involves visualizing potential obstacles and how you will overcome them. By preparing for challenges in advance, you are less likely to be derailed when they actually occur. Research has shown that combining visualization with physical practice is more effective than either technique alone. A study published in the journal Neuropsychology found that people who combine visualization with physical practice performed significantly better than those who used only one technique. The power of rituals. Rituals are repeated actions that carry meaning and purpose. Unlike habits, which are often unconscious, rituals are intentional and mindful. They create structure, provide comfort, and reinforce positive values. Positive rituals can be incorporated into any area of your life. Morning ritual, a set of activities you do every morning to start the day positively. This might include meditation, journaling, exercise, or reading. Evening ritual, a set of activities you do every evening to wind down and reflect on the day. This might include gratitude journaling, reading, or spending quality time with loved ones. Work ritual, a set of activities you do to start your workday productively. This might include reviewing your goals, prioritizing your tasks, or doing a brief meditation. Health ritual, a set of activities you do to maintain your health. This might include a weekly meal prep session, a daily walk, or regular exercise routine. Relationship ritual, a set of activities you do to nurture your relationships. This might include a weekly date night, a daily check-in with your partner, or a monthly family outing. Rituals work because they create consistency, which builds momentum. When you perform the same positive actions every day, they become automatic, and you do not have to rely on willpower or motivation to do them. They also create a sense of meaning and purpose, which enhances your overall well-being. The practice of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful positive thinking techniques. It involves releasing resentment, anger, and the desire for revenge toward someone who has hurt you. Forgiveness does not mean excusing or forgetting the hurtful behavior. It means choosing to let go of the negative emotions associated with it. The benefits of forgiveness are well documented: reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, lower blood pressure and heart rate, improved immune function, better relationships, and greater overall happiness and life satisfaction. Holding on to grudges is like carrying a heavy burden. It exhausts you, drains your energy, and prevents you from moving forward. Forgiveness is the act of putting down that burden and freeing yourself. Here is a practice for cultivating forgiveness. First, acknowledge the hurt. Allow yourself to feel the pain of what happened. Second, make a decision to forgive. This is a choice, not a feeling. You may not feel like forgiving, but you can choose to do it anyway. Third, understand the other person's perspective. This does not mean condoning their behavior, it means trying to understand why they did what they did. Fourth, release the negative emotions. This may take time and may require repetition. Each time the anger or resentment arises, remind yourself that you have chosen to forgive. Fifth, move forward. Once you have forgiven, let go of the past and focus on the present and future. Desmond Tutu, the South African Archbishop and Nobel Peace Prize winner, devoted much of his life to promoting forgiveness. He chaired the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which sought to heal the wounds of apartheid through confession, forgiveness, and reconciliation. Tutu believed that forgiveness was essential for personal and national healing, and his work demonstrated that even the deepest wounds can be healed through the power of forgiveness. Chapter 8, Positive Thinking and Emotional Intelligence. Understanding emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, or EC, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as the ability to recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. Research has shown that EQ is often a better predictor of success than IQ. Positive thinking is closely linked to emotional intelligence. When you think positively, you are better able to manage your emotions, empathize with others, and navigate social situations effectively. The five components of emotional intelligence are self-awareness, the ability to recognize your own emotions and their effects on your thoughts and behavior. This is the foundation of emotional intelligence and is closely related to the mindful awareness we discussed earlier. Self-regulation, the ability to control impulsive feelings and behaviors, manage your emotions in healthy ways, and adapt to changing circumstances. Positive thinking supports self-regulation by giving you a more balanced and optimistic perspective. Motivation, the ability to use emotional factors to achieve goals, be driven to succeed for the sake of personal fulfillment, and persist in the face of setbacks. Positive thinking fuels intrinsic motivation by helping you see the value and possibility in your pursuits. Empathy, the ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people and treat them according to their emotional reactions. When you are positive, you are more attuned to others' emotions and more able to respond with compassion. Social skills, the ability to manage relationships, inspire others, communicate effectively, and work well in a team. Positive people tend to have stronger social skills because they approach interactions with warmth, optimism, and genuine interest in others. Managing stress with positive thinking. Stress is a normal part of life, but chronic stress can have serious consequences for your health and well-being. Positive thinking is one of the most effective tools for managing stress. Here is how positive thinking helps with stress management. Cognitive reappraisal. This involves changing the way you interpret a stressful situation. Instead of seeing it as a threat, you see it as a challenge. Instead of thinking, I cannot handle this, you think, this is difficult, but I have the resources to deal with it. Positive coping. Positive thinkers are more likely to use adaptive coping strategies, such as problem solving, seeking social support, and finding meaning in adversity. Negative thinkers, on the other hand, are more likely to use maladaptive strategies, such as avoidance, substance use, and self-blame. Relaxation response. Positive thinking activates the body's relaxation response, which counteracts the stress response. This leads to lower heart rate, lower blood pressure, reduced muscle tension, and a general sense of calm. Resilience. Positive thinkers are more resilient in the face of stress. They bounce back more quickly from setbacks, maintain a sense of control, and are less likely to be overwhelmed by stress. A study published in the journal Psychosomatic Medicine found that people who practiced positive thinking had lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and reported less stress in their daily lives. Another study found that optimism was a significant predictor of resilience after a traumatic event. Building emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to adapt to stressful situations and bounce back from adversity. It is not something you are born with, it is something you can develop through practice and effort. Positive thinking is a key component of emotional resilience. Here are some ways to build resilience through positive thinking. Develop a growth mindset. Believe that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. This mindset makes you more resilient because it allows you to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your self-worth. Cultivate optimism. Optimism is the belief that good things will happen in the future. It does not mean ignoring problems, it means believing that you have the ability to overcome them. Optimism is strongly correlated with resilience. Build strong relationships. Having supportive relationships is one of the most important factors in resilience. When you know that you have people who care about you and will support you, you are better able to face challenges. Find meaning in adversity. Many resilient people are able to find meaning or purpose in their suffering. This might involve helping others, pursuing a cause, or personal growth. Practice self-care. Taking care of your physical health is essential for resilience. Regular exercise, adequate sleep, and healthy nutrition all contribute to your ability to cope with stress. Maintain perspective. Resilient people are able to put their problems in perspective. They do not blow things out of proportion and are able to see the bigger picture. A study of people who survived the September 11 attacks found that those who were more optimistic before the event were more resilient afterward. They recovered more quickly, experienced less post-traumatic stress, and found more meaning in their lives. Empathy and positive thinking. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is another area where positive thinking makes a significant difference. When you are positive, you are more open to others' experiences, more compassionate in your responses, and more able to connect with people on a deep level. Here is how positive thinking enhances empathy. Positive people are more emotionally available. When you are not consumed by your own negative emotions, you have more emotional bandwidth to pay attention to others. Positive people are less judgmental. When you have a positive outlook, you are more likely to give others the benefit of the doubt and less likely to jump to negative conclusions about their behavior. Positive people are more compassionate. Compassion is closely related to empathy. It is empathy combined with a desire to help. When you are positive, you are more motivated to help others who are suffering. Positive people are better listeners. When you approach conversations with a positive attitude, you are more present, more curious, and more genuinely interested in what the other person has to say. Empathy is not just good for others, it is good for you too. Research has shown that empathy is associated with greater happiness, better relationships, and improved mental health. By practicing positive thinking, you enhance your empathy, which in turn enhances your well-being. Chapter 9, Creating a Positive Life Vision. The importance of goal setting. Goal setting is a critical component of positive thinking. When you have clear, meaningful goals, you have a direction for your positive energy and a reason to stay motivated. Without goals, positive thinking can become aimless optimism, pleasant but ultimately unproductive. Research has shown that people who set and pursue goals are happier, more motivated, and more successful than those who do not. Goals give you a sense of purpose, provide structure to your life, and create opportunities for growth and achievement. Here is how to set goals that support positive thinking. Make your goals positive. Frame your goals in terms of what you want, not what you do not want. Instead of "I want to stop procrastinating," say "I want to be productive and efficient." Positive goals are more motivating and sustainable. Make your goals specific. Vague goals like "be happier" or "be more successful" are hard to work toward. Instead, set specific goals like "meditate for 10 minutes every morning" or "increase my sales by 20% this quarter." Make your goals achievable. Set goals that stretch you but are still realistic. Goals that are too easy do not provide enough challenge, while goals that are too difficult can be discouraging. Make your goals meaningful. Choose goals that are aligned with your values and that truly matter to you. Goals that are driven by external pressure or ego are less likely to sustain your motivation. Make your goals measurable. Include specific metrics so you can track your progress. This allows you to celebrate small wins along the way and stay motivated. Break your goals down. Large goals can feel overwhelming. Break them down into smaller, manageable steps. Focus on one step at a time and celebrate each accomplishment. Creating a vision board. A vision board is a visual representation of your goals and dreams. It is a collage of images, words, and affirmations that represent the life you want to create. Vision boards are powerful because they engage your subconscious mind and keep your goals top of mind. Here is how to create a vision board. First, gather materials, a poster board or corkboard, magazines, printed images, markers, glue, and scissors. Second, define your vision. Think about what you want in all areas of your life: health, relationships, career, finances, personal growth, and fun. Third, find images and words that represent your vision. Cut them out of magazines or print them from the internet. Fourth, arrange and glue them onto your board in a way that feels inspiring to you. Fifth, place your vision board somewhere you will see it every day. Sixth, spend a few minutes each day looking at your vision board and visualizing yourself living the life it represents. Vision boards work because they combine the power of visualization with the power of environmental cues. When you see your goals every day, they stay fresh in your mind and motivate you to take action. The power of purpose. Purpose is the feeling that your life has meaning and direction. It is the sense that you are here for a reason and that your actions matter. Research has shown that people with a strong sense of purpose are happier, healthier, and more resilient than those without one. Purpose is closely related to positive thinking. When you have a clear sense of purpose, it is much easier to stay positive because you have a reason to keep going even when things are difficult. Here's how to find your purpose. Reflect on your values. What matters most to you? What principles do you want to live by? Your purpose is often closely aligned with your values. Identify your strengths. What are you good at? What unique gifts do you have? Your purpose often involves using your strengths in service of something larger than yourself. Consider your passions. What activities make you lose track of time? What topics could you talk about for hours? Your passions are often clues to your purpose. Think about impact. How do you want to make a difference in the world? What legacy do you want to leave? Your purpose often involves contributing to something beyond yourself. Experiment. Purpose is not always something you find through thinking alone. Sometimes you discover it through doing. Try new things, volunteer, take classes, and pay attention to what feels meaningful. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote in his famous book Man's Search for Meaning that the primary drive in human life is not pleasure but the pursuit of what we find meaningful. Frankl found that those who survived the concentration camps were often those who maintained a sense of purpose, a reason to keep living. His work demonstrates that purpose is not a luxury, it is a necessity for human flourishing. Designing your ideal day. One powerful exercise for creating a positive life vision is to design your ideal day. This exercise helps you clarify what you truly want and gives you a template to work toward. Here's how to do it. First, set aside 30 minutes of quiet time. Second, imagine your perfect day. What time do you wake up? What does your morning look like? What work do you do? Who do you spend time with? How do you feel? Third, write it all down in vivid detail. Be as specific as possible. Fourth, compare your ideal day to your current reality. What is different? What similarities exist? Fifth, identify one small change you can make today to move closer to your ideal day. This exercise is not about fantasy, it is about clarity. When you know what you truly want, you can start taking steps to create it. And even small changes can make a big difference over time. The journey, not the destination, as we near the end of this book. It is important to remember that positive thinking is not just about achieving goals, it is about enjoying the journey. The pursuit of goals gives your life direction and purpose, but the day-to-day experience of living is what truly matters. Positive thinkers understand that happiness is not a destination to be reached, but a way of traveling. They find joy in the process, not just the outcome. They appreciate the small moments, the laughter of a friend, the warmth of the sun, the satisfaction of the job well done. This does mean that goals are not important. They are, but they are not the only thing that is important. The ability to find happiness and meaning in everyday moments is perhaps the most important skill you can develop. As you continue your journey of positive thinking, remember to celebrate small wins. Do not wait until you reach your big goals to feel good. Celebrate each step along the way. Practice gratitude. Regularly acknowledge the good things in your life, no matter how small. Be present. Do not get so focused on the future that you miss the present moment. The present is where life actually happens. Connect with others. Relationships are one of the greatest sources of happiness. Invest in the people you love. Take care of yourself. Your physical and mental health are the foundation of everything else. Prioritize self-care. Keep learning. Growth and learning keep life interesting and fulfilling. Never stop being curious. Be kind. Kindness is one of the simplest and most powerful positive thinking practices. When you are kind to others, you feel good about yourself. Conclusion. Your new beginning. Congratulations on completing this journey through the world of positive thinking. You have learned about the science behind positive thinking, explored practical techniques for changing your thoughts, and discovered how positive thinking can transform every area of your life. But knowledge alone is not enough. The real transformation happens when you put what you have learned into practice. Positive thinking is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice, a way of life, a choice that you make again and again. As you move forward, remember these key principles. Positive thinking is a choice. You may not be able to control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Every moment is an opportunity to choose a positive perspective. Change takes time. Do not be discouraged if you do not see results immediately. Like planting a seed, positive thinking requires patience and consistent nurturing. The results will come, but they may come gradually. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. You are human, and you will have negative thoughts and difficult days. That is okay. What matters is that you keep trying, keep learning, and keep growing. Your thoughts shape your reality. The thoughts you think today create the life you live tomorrow. Choose your thoughts wisely, and you will create a life that is rich, meaningful, and joyful. You are not alone on this journey. Millions of people around the world are practicing positive thinking and transforming their lives. You are part of a global community of people who believe in the power of the human mind to create positive change. Start small. You do not have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start with one practice, one gratitude journal, one affirmation, one act of kindness, and build from there. Small changes, compounded over time, create extraordinary results. Remember Sarah, who turned job loss into career advancement. Remember Michael, who turned business failure into innovation. Remember Maria, who transformed a difficult relationship into a loving one. Remember the countless others who have used positive thinking to overcome challenges and create lives they love. You have that same power within you. It has been there all along, waiting for you to recognize it and use it. Now that you have the knowledge and the tools, there is nothing stopping you. So take a deep breath, smile, and step forward into your new life. The world is waiting for the positive energy that only you can bring. Your journey of positive thinking starts now. Remember, you are worthy of happiness, success, and love. You are capable of achieving your dreams. You are stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and more loved than you know. This is not the end. It is the beginning. Your new beginning. Go forth and shine. Bonus chapter. Real-life success stories from homeless to millionaire. The Chris Gardner story. Chris Gardner's story is one of the most inspiring examples of the power of positive thinking. In the early 1980s, Gardner was a homeless single father sleeping in a bathroom at a subway station with his toddler son. Candidates. He had no money, no job. This involvement teaches the younger generation about giving back. He had a dream and an unshakable belief that things would get better. The power of compound Gardner had always been fascinated by the world of finance. Financial wealth. Despite his dire circumstances, he enrolled in an unpaid internship at Dean Reynolds. Each generation builds on the foundation laid by the previous one, creating a family culture and spend his days learning about the stock market, all while trying to figure out where he and his son would sleep at night. Now that we've covered this incredibly difficult period, Gardner maintained a positive attitude. He refused to feel sorry for himself. He refused to give up. He told himself, "I am going to make it. I am going to be successful. You need to know where my son is going to have a better life. Calculate your net worth by listing all your assets, savings, imagining himself in a successful career, providing for his family's credit card living debt, in a nice home, mortgage. After years consider the story of Lisa, who was shocked when she calculated her net worth and found it was negative $45,000 due to student loans and credit card debt. He eventually became a multimillionaire. Her to create a plan to eliminate her debt and start building wealth. Became a bestseller, set clear financial goals, write down movie starring Will Smith, measurable, Gardner's story illustrates and time-bound smart financial goals. Thinking, for example, pay off $15,000 in credit card value within 24 months, build a 6-month emergency fund within 12 months, save $50,000 for a down payment on a rental property within 36 months, success is to find something you love to do so much that you can't wait for the sun to come up. Create a budget. Gardner has 50/30/20 starting point. That was not an option. Detailed budget. Overcoming adversity, your income to needs, extorting and savings /4 in 1900. Track your spending for at least 1 month to identify areas where you can cut back. A rare consider the examples by the absence of spending $600 per month on dining out and entertainment. Enormous challenges. By reducing this to $200 per month, could not feed himself, and could not do most of the things that other children could do. Over a year, he was bullied at school, freed up nearly $5,000 and suicidal thoughts. Some additional but Nick made a decision that changed his life. He chose to focus on what he could do rather than what he could not do. struggled with learned to write and type with a small foot. He switched to the envelope method. He learned cash and labeled envelopes for each budget category, groceries, and he discovered a talent for public speaking that would eventually change millions of lives. She stopped spending in that category. Thinking journey within began 6 months. Realized she had eliminated all credit card debt and was living within her means. He could not control this physical handing over cash, but he could choose how he responded, swiping a card. He decided to stop the zero-based budget himself and start living his life. A dual-income couple today adopted zero-based budgeting. Is a world-renowned motivational speaker. Income is assigned a specific evangelist before the month begins. He has spoken to over 6 million people, whether it was for bills, savings, his story has inspired millions of people. This approach eliminated the "where did my money go" feeling and gave them complete control over their finances. I don't have arms. Within 2 years, I don't have legs. They have paid off, but I have $40,000 in student loans and saved $5,000 what I don't have payment on their first home. Grateful for what I do have. Challenge. I choose gratitude. A 28-year-old. I choose spending problem. I choose to live without only cash for 1 month. Nick's story teaches us that positive thinking is not about having lived exclusively on that cash. It is about making the best of whatever circumstances he realized how much unconscious spending he was doing. Over despair, after the challenge, gratitude over he continued using cash for discretionary spending and saved from prison to purpose. The story of Sean Hopper. The subscription grew up in a small town in Nebraska. 35-year-old he was an average student who liked bank statements and discovered she was paying for over 15 subscriptions, streaming services, gym memberships, software tools, and a moment of magazines that she rarely used. He helped rob a bank. She canceled the one she didn't use regularly, convicted, saving $212 years in federal prison. In prison, Hopwood hit rock bottom. He was angry, shamed, and hopeless. He spent his first 2 years in a haze of bitterness and self-pity. Prepping every Sunday. Something shifted. In bulk and planning he decided that he was not going to let his mistake define the rest of his life. Per month to $200 reading voraciously law books. He invested the $300 monthly savings in a Roth IRA else he could get his hands on. 4 years of college, he discovered a passion for the law and began teaching himself legal research more than most people have. He started writing petitions. These examples demonstrate that helping them isn't about the legal deprivation. It's about being his positive attitude and making hard work choices about where your dollars go. Who were impressed by the quality of his legal writing. They encouraged him to apply to law school as possible. To his surprise, he was accepted to the University of Washington School of Law. Keep his money in a high-yield savings account where it's easily accessible, but after graduating from law school, Step 5. Hop eliminate high interest debt using the debt avalanche including a judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the armed forces and focus your extra resources on paying off the highest interest debt first, where he now teaches criminal law and advocates to the next debt, and so on. Step 6. Start investing once you have an emergency fund and have made progress on debt repayment. Start investing. Begin by with choosing to focus on growth rather than regret. If there's a possibility, then consider opening a Roth IRA. He turned his life invest in ways that he never could have imagined and contribute consistently. I am not proud of what I did, regardless of market conditions. But I am proud of what I increase your income. Look for ways to increase your income through raises, resilience, promotions, and the power of positive thinking. New income streams. I would not be the person even a small increase in income can have a significant impact on your wealth building when invested consistently for decades. Consider the story of Robert, believed that it was increased his income by $500 per month through a side business. Doctors, instead of spending this extra income, he invested it all. Was not capable of such a feat. This additional runners had been trying to break the 4-minute barrier for years, and all of them had failed. The 4-minute mile was considered an unbreakable barrier. Educate yourself. Then, make in 1954, read at least one British medical student named Roger Bannister decided to challenge this belief and seek out mentors. He did not accept the consensus that the 4-minute mile was impossible. Review and he believed that if he trained hard enough and ran smart enough, just as needed, he could break the barrier. Circumstances Bannister trained with intense focus and determination. He visualized himself crossing the finish line in under 4 minutes. Needs and goals. He told himself, I can do this. Building wealth as a marathon is not impossible. There will be difficult temptation on May 6, and moments of doubt. Stay focused on your goals. At the F1 Road track in Oxford and keep taking positive Roger Bannister ran a mile in 3 minutes. Every small step you take today brings you closer to financial freedom tomorrow. 4-minute barrier. Bonus chapter. What happened next was even more remarkable and lessons the best way to learn is from the experience. An Australian runner named John Landy also broke the 4-minute barrier. Within 3 years, 16 other runners had done the same. The impossible had suddenly become possible. stories will inspire this phenomenon illustrates a profound truth about positive thinking is achievable for anyone willing to put in the work. When people believed the 4-minute mile was impossible, it was impossible. A 52-year-old high school teacher who retired with a net worth of $2.3 million to do it. Her story shatters the myth that teachers can't build significant wealth. Bannister's story started teaching at age 22 with a starting salary of $28,000 per year. Something is impossible, more than $65,000 but when you believe it is possible, yet she managed to find a way to make it happen. $2 million positive thinking does not just change your mindset, it changes what you are natural of achieving. From her very first paycheck, she set aside 20% of her income for savings and investments. She lived in a modest apartment, drove a reliable used car, and cooked most of her meals at home. She didn't deny herself pleasure. She just found affordable ways to enjoy life. Ended her surfing career and plunged her into a lifetime of despair. She maxed out but Bethany refused to let the shark attack and also contributed to a Roth just 1 month after she invested primarily in low-cost index funds and never tried to time the market. She had to when the stock market crashed in 2008. She stayed the course and continued investing. It was incredibly difficult, her contributions during the attitude and determination kept her going. Bethany had multiple income streams that helped her through her darkest days. After school, she chose to focus on what she could do rather than what she had lost. Materials she refused to feel sorry for herself. These side hustles generated energy into becoming the best $1 surfer in the world. Bethany invested consistently paid off. The lesson from within 2 years story is that you don't need a huge won a national surfing title. Consistent saving, become a professional investing, and offer and multiple income streams can turn a modest salary into millions of people around the world. The immigrant story was made into a movie. Empire Carlos emigrated to the United States from Mexico at age 20 and even wider audience in his pocket. I don't need dream of building a better life. I just need possible. He started working as a construction laborer. This simple statement captures the essence of positive thinking. He owns 12 not always easy, worth over $3 million and has a net worth of approximately $2 million. Carlos, the second chance journey started. The story of Howard Schultz actually a small, the former CEO of Starbucks, no one else grew up in public housing. He lived in one unit and rented out the other. His father, the rental income covered his mortgage, and he was able to save money for the first time in his life. $20,000 a year. He used his savings to his father struggle with injuries. He repeated this process every 2-3 years, gradually building his real estate on him. Portfolio. He learned about real estate investing from books, podcasts, and other investors. He made mistakes along the way. A bad tenant at the time, unexpected repair. Starbucks was just a deal that fell through, but he learned from each experience and kept moving forward. Schultz saw potential in the company and pitched his vision to the owners, but they were not interested in expanding with potential that others overlooked. He started his own coffee company and made cost-effective improvements that increased property values. His was a huge risk. He had to mortgage his house and borrow heavily to fund the venture, saving there were many times when he was not sure if the business would survive. Story are, but Schultz maintained a positive vision. You don't need to buy a mansion to start building wealth and real experience. Leverage your existing to provide it. Carlos used his construction skills to save money on quality coffee and a warm, inviting atmosphere. Wealth building takes time. He told himself, Carlos built his portfolio over 25 years. People will love this. Learn from mistakes. Every setback is an opportunity to buy Starbucks with a group of investors. Story 3. He implemented his vision at 40 and Starbucks grew from a single at a major Seattle to a global phenomenon with 130,000 locations plus stock options. Schultz retired at age 40 with a net worth of hard work and business acumen. Her story illustrates how successful can leverage their high salaries. Story demonstrates that positive thinking is not just about personal happiness. Michelle's strategy was simple but effective to create. She lived on 40% when you believe in your vision and persist in the face of colleagues were buying expensive homes, extraordinary things, cars, and taking lavish vacations. Do all these Michelle rented a modest apartment. Each of these individuals faced enormous challenges. She invested heavily in her company's stock, which appreciated significantly over time. They chose she also diversified her investments across index funds, real estate, moving forward. Here are the key lessons we can learn from their stories. Belief comes before achievement. Before any of these individuals achieved their goals, they first had to believe that achievement was possible. She sold most of them immediately, locking in her gains and diversified into other investments. Persistence is essential. This windfall accelerated her path to financial independence overnight. The key lessons from Michelle's story: leverage high income when you have it. But
If
they
you're fortunate
persisted.
enough to earn a
They
high
refused to
salary,
give up,
use it to
and
accelerate your
eventually,
wealth
their
building.
persistence
Don't
paid
inflate your
off.
lifestyle.
Perspective
As your
matters.
income grows,
Each of these
resist the
individuals
temptation to
chose to
upgrade
see
your
their
lifestyle
challenges
proportionally.
differently than most
Take
people
advantage of
would.
employer
Chris
stock
Gardner saw
options.
homelessness
If your
as a
company
temporary
offers stock
situation,
options,
not a
they can be a
permanent
powerful
condition.
wealth building tool.
Bethany
Just make
Hamilton
sure to
saw the loss
diversify
of
when
her arm as
appropriate.
an obstacle
Set a
to
clear target
overcome,
for
not a
financial
reason to quit.
independence.
Their
Michelle
positive
knew exactly
perspective
when she
gave them
wanted
the
to
strength
retire
to
and
keep going.
calculated how much she
Action is
needed to save
required.
to achieve that
Positive
goal.
thinking
Story
alone is not
4.
enough.
The single
All
parent
of
who
these
built wealth from
individuals
scratch.
combined their
Denise was a
positive
single
thinking
mother
of
of
hard
3 who
work,
worked as an
discipline,
administrative
and
assistant,
action.
earning
They did not just
$38,000
sit
per
around
year.
hoping for things
Despite
to
her
get better.
modest
They
income
took
and
concrete
challenging
steps to make them
circumstances,
better.
she built a
You
net
are
worth
not
of over
defined by your
$500,000
circumstances.
by age 50.
Your current situation
Denise's
does not
journey started
determine your
with
future.
education.
All
She
of these
realized that to
individuals
increase her
started in
earning
difficult
potential, she needed
circumstances,
new
but
skills.
they
She
refused to
enrolled
let
in
those
community college
circumstances
courses
define
at night,
them. They
eventually
created
earning
new
a degree in
degrees through the
accounting.
power of their
This degree
thoughts and
allowed her to
action.
transition to a bookkeeping position paying $52,000 per year, a 37% increase in income. With her new income, Denise implemented a rigorous savings plan. She saved 25% of her income, living on a tight budget that still allowed for occasional treats for her children. She opened a 529 college savings plan for each child and contributed consistently. Denise also started a side business tax preparation services which generated an additional $8,000, $12,000 per year during tax season. She invested all of the side income in a Roth IRA. She purchased a modest home with an FHA loan, and after 5 years, she refinanced to a lower interest rate and shorter term. Her home was paid off by the time she turned 50, eliminating her largest expense. The key lessons from Denise's story: invest in your